Lali-Ho and good evening, everybody. Welcome to our second match here on Randomania this evening, as we have Nightdew and xPankraz taking it out their second match in this best of three. I am Huff and joined on the mic by Leggy Starscream. Leggy, how's it going?
This was a triumph. I'm making a note here, huge success. I'm doing great, and I'm sure both of our runners are out here ready to have a good time. Nightdew got the first game up on Pankraz, which means that he just needs to win, while Pankraz is fighting for his tournament life. Got to get these next two in a row if he wants to advance to the next round. But we have a pretty decent start, I'd say.
Well, we do have an objective to get Sid, and we do start with the Sid, and that does nothing for us. We have to Sid. First Sid is not enough. We need second Sid. Or we could just go defeat Dark Knight Cecil, and that's always a good, fun, easy time. Smile.
I mean, Dark Knight Cecil is one of those bosses that runs the complete gamut from literally free, unless you have a starting Rydia party, to, oh god, this is worse than Wyvern.
Yep, it is very much going to depend on what our party looks like and what spot he's in. But since we only have one boss hunt, one character hunt, the odds of a required giant, strong,
yeah. There's always, that off chance, but this is not something that's really going to push us that direction. And of course, we do have our three customary Lali-Ho objectives of forging the nothing, I guess. Frickin' dwarf keeps it this time. Completing Cave Magnes and trading away the pink tail for... Well, okay, you still get a piece of gear from that one.
You do. Yeah, our first objective, though, we're just helping Coco with his science project. And unfortunately, we don't get any credit for doing so, other than, getting the objective and possibly completion of the seed if that's required.
Well, we get beta access to his new and improved in-house store.
Yeah, with a lot of stuff we can't afford.
Because our runners won't be able to sell anything. You find a really nice ninja sword with no edge. You can throw it away, I guess, but that's about it. Luckily, our runners are going to be starting off with some starter kits that will give them, at the very least, an influx of cash. Plus, I hear, defeating bosses is a great way to get money.
This I've heard many times over. So let's see what is in those kits and what kind of cash we start with, as Sid is joined by another beard, Tella.
Ooh, that's actually a really nice utility start. I didn't quite catch what was in the starter kits, but we are starting with a Sand Ruby, so that will be a free character for both of our runners right away.
Yep, I did see we hit 58,000 in our starting gold, so until you start beating bosses, that's all you've got on hand. The kit itself, it looked fine. I saw a handful of utility items, but nothing outstanding.
So I guess my question for you is, with that Sand Ruby, obviously, our runners will be highly prioritizing that check, because it could be any of the 12 characters in this game, although our runners cannot take a duplicate character at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any people you just look at and go, nah?
At this stage, no. Because early on, even if the character is not really helpful, they're a body. Like, maybe you don't... Okay, you take a Cecil. But yeah. Like, Edward, Rydia, even if you're like, I don't want those characters in my final party, if they absorb a hit, they've helped.
Mm-hmm. That said, we all know him, we all love him. Dark Knight Cecil is pretty much a body at the moment, but once we run up ordeals, which we are incentivized to do because we have both characters who directly benefit from doing so, I imagine once we start finding decent weapons for the boy, he will start doing what he does best.
Yep, he has a very strong opportunity to make things rather cold and start going burr.
Looks like xPankraz dropped a little bit of money here in town. I think mostly on those bandanas.
Those are good, lower level headgear, but they're nice to have early on. And of course, with Sea Neki, you start with nothing, and something is pretty much always better than nothing.
Yeah, and I think they also have a +5 strength boost on them.
Yeah.
Which, it's not optimal for the end game, but I'm never upset if my characters are wearing headbands in the end game.
And I think I'm now just noticing Nightdew having a tactics naming theme going on. So, good on him.
Yeah, whereas it looks like xPankraz just has the silly randomized names on that the randomizer provides.
And he is going to go over to Mount Hobbs, looking for character number 4, possibly.
Yeah, well, Nightdew does a little bit more looting here in the back of the Watery Pass. Looks like a Lit Bolt, Dragoon Shield, and Crystal Armor for his trouble.
Ooh.
Crystal Armor is... I hate to say it, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I'm personally a fan of it, because it is substantial defense. It kind of ruins your ability to Zerk, unless you have an Avenger sword. But, I tend to not play these kind of very loot-restricted seeds, so I would have an Avenger sword, and then I'm happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the other thing that you normally see the Crystal Armor turning into is a large pile of money, which, again, unfortunately, is not in the cards here.
But it looks like our Hobbs check does pay out pretty nicely. We get a Palom and a pretty easy Odin fight. So that is another mage added to the party, a Quiet Kid in short order.
And it looks like we found a Sylph Summon and another piece of Crystal Armor up here down in the bottom half of the mountain. No Riddy in sight, so unfortunately that Sylph is way less exciting than it could be. But that's okay, we have another Black Mage.
Yeah, but we're finding all this crystal gear and a Cecil. I know some runners are restreamer tonight, Asuka. They see she's rolling in and are like, well, no Cecil's going to show up. Well, proved you wrong. You get a Cecil and high tier gear.
Well,
enjoy.
They haven't found the one critical piece of crystal gear yet.
It'll come in time. We're 5 minutes in. Let them at least, do Antlion Cave.
And to be fair, I don't think any of our runners have checked any places where tier 7 gear can drop yet.
Now, that stuff is very restricted on this flag set. It's limited pretty much to these key item checks. And the trap chests, I think, can still give tier 7. I believe that is how it's set up. But these regular chests, no, not happening.
I know they could 100% in Swiss. I forget whether or not that has been changed for brackets. But that's a Sparkle down here in the Antlion Cave. And that's Pale Dim. So, less terrifying than it could have been.
Oh yeah, there are way worse Sparkles to find. This is just 1,000 HP of meh punches.
Yeah. Sid throwing out that Earth Hammer to do that. Pankraz, unfortunately, throwing out the ice with Tella. Pale Dim does absorb it.
Yeah, don't bother using elemental magic on Pale Dim. It's not worth it. Fortunately, Earth is not an element. So Quake is cool.
Yeah. Nightdew does check a bit more of the looting locations here in Antlion Cave, goes up to the far back room, and pulls an Ogre Axe for his trouble.
And it's a good thing to have if you're carrying a Sid around for a while.
Yeah, between the Earth Hammer and the Ogre Axe, the Sid is going to be hitting fairly heavily. Plus, the Ogre Axe is a reasonable weapon to hand over to Cecil after the Magical Girl transformation.
Now, if only we could use that pan as a weapon. I feel like that would do quite a bit of damage, too.
Yeah, sadly, no kitchen utensils for weapons in this stage of brackets. In Swiss, we did have the spoon flag on, but that is no more.
And of course, this game never has a battle chef, as amusing as that might be.
Gosh, I wish.
Imagine if you could just bring Sheila into the party with you. She would be unstoppable.
Really. Like, I know it's a meme in the community to be like, oh, let's get Golbez and make him playable. Nah, playable Sheila is where it's at, IMO. Anyway, both of our runners have cleared Antlion at this point. Both of them have the pan in tow. Looks like Nightdew is heading back to Baron, while Pankraz is going to go do the Fabul defend as well.
Nightdew hitting up the discount inn. I mean, every inn has the same effect, so go with the cheapest one. And we'll certainly do the fight right after, or at least give it a peek. See if we can get a 5th character in his party.
Yeah. Whereas Pankraz is down here taking on the Baron guards, while Nightdew checks out the Baron guards spot.
Yep, and finds that antlion that was supposed to be a moment ago, but, shuffling.
The nice thing about doing the Fabul Gauntlet spot is that you do get a full party heal both before and after.
Yep, so you avoid spending the money to hit that inn as Nightdew did. You avoid the time spent hitting it. But without any sort of mute, these guards are actually being a bit of a problem.
Yeah, Pankraz is having a bit of a rough time. Does decide to throw out the coffin that I believe was in the starter kits.
It looked like, yes.
And so only taking half the amount of punches every turn is going to be very useful here.
But meanwhile, Nightdew got through the antlion, the first spot there, very low HP, so easy to do. And now is dealing with multi-ball.
Yep. The good news here is that the CPU fight is a battle of attrition. As long as you have enough healing, you will be able to get through it 100% of the time. The only damage coming out outside of the Globe 199s is percentage based from the attacker.
Yep, but like so many Wars of Attrition, it can take quite a bit of time, especially if you're doing it too early. So if this doesn't pay out, like Fabul Defense did not pay out, that would be just more time invested by Nightdew that Pankraz can, spend less later.
Yeah. And one of the interesting parts of the equation here is that our runners do have that pan in the inventory. So Nightdew might be going for the play to skip the Fabul Defense for now, hope that it isn't the underground access. Really nice use of that Gaia drum to clear out the last bit of that fight.
And gets a vanilla Baron key as a result.
As well as the Porum for his troubles. If you want a white mage, she'll do the work for you.
She is indeed a white mage. But Pankraz is more interested in getting that Tella and that Cecil online, climbing up Mount Ordeals. Hit up the gauntlet of 3 bosses. Well, 2 bosses and then whatever's in the chamber room, which I guess is a boss, but come on.
Looks like Nightdew is going to use that Baron key to get a look at the item shop, as our first boss up the mountain is everyone's favorite turtle.
I just want to point out that this is the third race in a row that I have commentated where Kenazo was there.
I think that's enough to draw conclusions.
Yes, I'm very concerned by these conclusions.
The good news is for Pankraz that we saw that Palom throwing out an Ice 2 that did, frankly, the majority of Kainazo's HP. That Thor Rage hopefully is going to be good enough to avoid the wave coming out, but
yeah, he's already hiding in the shell.
Yeah.
So yeah, having that Palom, pretty good move. He's gonna carry his weight.
Very much so. Yeah, both of our runners having the Palom, getting those experience points on the Palom. Pankraz's already has Virus.
Oh, we get a bonus.
Oh ho ho, the Dragon of the Mists. I imagine both of our runners are going to be very happy to see this here because D-Mist hiding in a trolley location, hiding a required key item, is always on the back of your mind until you've slain the dragon.
Yeah, it's easy to have that fear, and it's a justified fear a lot of the time. But getting this out of the way means that once we clear this mountain, we have 2 key items, or at least 2 key item spots added to our collection. Either one of those can be the way underground. We have not seen any evidence against that so far.
Indeed. Let's see here, and if this doesn't pan out, well, actually, I think one of them has to be. No, it could still be at the Vanilla Kainazo spot, the Baron Throne.
Yep. But yeah, we are down to 3 possibilities for our underground access, and of course we have to have underground before Moon. But we could find a Darkness Crystal too, and really open this thing up.
Yep. The logic says you do not have to go to the moon to get underground. The logic does not say anything about where the Darkness Crystal is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Pankraz is through just as Nightdew gets into the D-Mist fight. I think the Porib is contributing a little extra damage at this point, but I don't think she's quite unlocked her full suite of utility spells quite yet.
Well, that tiara might help in the process, if only by making her a little bit stronger.
Yep. It's also very pretty.
Yeah. You can't discount the style element, you know?
Exactly. You ready for the dialogue?
I feel like we've been having a dialogue this entire time.
Fair. Dr. Luge goes... First phase goes down to a single virus. If this was in any slightly more healthy spot, you can really waste a lot of time by Dr. Luge going through all the different phases of his script.
Nope, just a 1-2 punch out of Palom, and we're done. We're through this.
Yep. Cecil becomes a paladin. Tel is going to recall the spells, and Pankraz is going to need to figure out where to go next.
Well, fortunately for him, everything is kind of pointing you towards the beginning area of the game, that Barren and Mist neighborhood, and we know that's all that's left.
Mm-hmm.
That is Nightdew through the Mist Dragon fight. See if he can manage to one-shot each phase of Luge as well, just for the efficiency.
Right. That's one of the things in Free Enterprise is just like, sometimes it's not a matter of if you can defeat a boss, sometimes it's a matter of how much time does it cost you.
Yep. As we were saying about CPU, you can always get through it, but man, it can take a while.
Pankraz electing to do the Baron in check before running down D-Mist.
So yeah, these Baron in fights should be that much faster for Pankraz now having all these levels from Mount Ordeals.
Indeed. Plus, Tella's full complement of spells does not hurt.
Well, it does hurt. It hurts the enemy. Well,
fair.
Hopefully it hurts the enemy. He might have a curse string on, in which case it's more of a gentle breeze.
You know when someone pokes you a little too hard and it hurts a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just imagining Curse Ring, Tella, cast Lit 3, and it's like a little static shock. That's my go-to comparison if anyone ever wonders, what does taking 1 HP of damage feel like? It's probably that.
Mm-hmm. Nightdew taking the moment, getting that Paladin Cecil fully equipped before heading back down the mountain.
And that's Pankraz picking up his Baron Key. Dealt with a little bit of Globe 199, but whatever, that spot gives no XP anyway.
Yeah, I would be surprised if that wasn't a calculated risk.
So let's see what the Mistdrakian gives us today. Is it here or is it at the throne?
Well, there's no money in the grass.
And a Luca key on Rydia's mom. So our progression is in Baron, the check that Pankraz is headed towards right now.
Yep. And I don't hate this particular play from Pankraz. You got the Baron key right here. You feel equipped to do it. Might as well push on through. But Nightdew is starting to worry that it might have been at Fabul.
It's a reasonable worry, but it is going to steer him a little bit away. I think this will be another case of the boss being a lot easier for Nightdew than Pankraz. So not as much of a time loss, but there's all the world navigation. You have to go from one end to another.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. Though, given that Pankraz is now in the Baron Castle, I would give him the slight advantage at the moment.
Agreed.
And I do not messing around, throwing out that coffin immediately.
And throwing out a mute right behind it. So yeah, that won't nullify the basic attacks that the guards do, but it nullifies all the counters. So much easier to handle.
Yep. Whereas Pankraz is taking on the slightly less Nook Noodle, and a Lit 3 from Tella coming out doing over 3,000 damage, cleaning up that fight.
Apparently, Baron Castle has a dedicated claw room.
The claw.
Room.
Yes.
Okay. On our second sparkle, this one is the Lunars.
All right. Not the worst find here. Um, obviously, I don't. Wyvern can be nasty, but I don't remember how much damage Wyvern would do at this spot.
I'm not sure either, but since we know this is our way underground now, we know Wyvern couldn't have been there. The other options for the Luna Sparkles could happen. I believe even Ogopogo is a possibility, but of the option set, this one's it's fine. Just keep up your healing and it's okay.
Yeah, it looks like Pankraz is going in with the throwing magic damage out to avoid them going into the Reflect Virus script.
Yep, it does manage to avoid it completely. It receives a ninja.
All right. Does he take the ninja?
Yeah, that's a yes.
Yeah, some back and forth there between Sid and Tella, but opting to keep Tella around for the magical powers, probably into an anchor later, unless we get another character to replace him with.
No, I like this strategy just in general of using Tella for his utility early on and his slowness later on. It's nice to have for the whole game.
Indeed. And as Nightdew starts that Leviathan fight, Pankraz is going to check the garbage dumpster out back.
And there's our Magma Key.
Let's go. It is worth noting that at this point, Nightdew also has done a little more looting than Pankraz. So, the Ogre Act on Cecil, for instance, is going to do a bit of work and may help Nightdew close some of the gap that seems apparent right now.
Yep, there's also a minor difference in their respective porums. Nightdew having picked her up a little earlier, so his porum has that little more XP and so forth. Not going to be a huge difference, but again, we might have a fight where those little margins matter.
Yeah, for instance, I'm pretty sure that was porum right there learning Berserk.
Yep, you get, yeah, that's the porum with Zerk, so get that just a little earlier, get those strats going just a little earlier, and yeah, we're dropping that crystal armor. We want Cecil to go burr.
And, like, really, who wouldn't?
Maybe Cecil's mom. You're like, she's like, you're going burr all the time. You're too cold. Put on a sweater. I don't know if Cecil has an overprotective mother. I haven't dug into the lore.
Yeah, I don't actually remember what the lore is on Cecil's parents. I feel like there is lore there, I just do not remember what it is.
I'm pretty sure there is, but like I listen, we randomize the game. We don't randomize the story.
Indeed. Oof, looks like Nightdew did trip the virus script.
Yeah.
But one dragon is down.
And is actually setting up to reflect spells off Tella to do some magic damage to get the other one down.
Yep. Bringing back Cecil real fast. Gonna bounce another virus.
And that does do it.
Yeah, it was definitely a little scary, but Nightdew is through as Pankraz is doing a little bit of looting here in Dwarf Castle.
Nightdew has decided to drop Tella, so we now have two competing strategies.
Yeah, and like, I personally see the merits of both of these plays right here. On the one hand, Tella does provide all that really good utility magic. On the other hand, Porum provides almost as much, as well as having Sid there for the second bit of physical damage.
xPankraz goes and visits the job dwarf. Atmosphere and space scientist, I believe it was.
I don't rightly recall what the exact job was, but it's definitely out of this world.
I can't imagine how much work you get in that field when you live in a subterranean cavern. But, you do you. Follow your dreams.
I mean, I guess, like if you live in a subterranean cavern, space would technically just be like the roof of the cavern, and like making sure that doesn't fall on your town would probably be a little important.
I would appreciate that person, yes.
Yes. Pankraz going down towards the Fame Arch finds the monster chest right away, and so knows that he is safe to loot to his heart's content.
Yep, we do shuffle around where the trap chests are, but we don't shuffle the quantity within an area. There's only one trap chest in this path to the Land of Summon Monsters. You're only going to find one here.
Yep. Has found a longsword so far for his trouble, which will be an upgrade for that edge.
Yeah, and this flag's head edge is a bit nerfed. It requires a bit more gear to really get going, and stuff like that longsword or that ninja shirt actually go a long way.
Yeah, Nightdew is heading straight down into Sylph Cave, going to see where that pan leads, as Pankraz just finds, well, I think it's just the box at that point if it's a coffin.
Sure. But getting these life potions, these tents, camping gear has been rather sparse in this bracket stage, so you're happy to see those.
Indeed. And those hourglasses are also a very nice pickup here.
But the Sylph's just granting us a white shirt. At least we have white mages who could wear it, so we got that going for us.
Yeah, Porum is going to be very happy seeing that. As Nightdew heads straight back to the overworld to get the good old 3-for-1 set of checks out of the way, going to do both halves of the Sheila checks.
That Fame Arch hurts to look at.
Oh. And, that's a pink tail from Sheila 1 and a samurai bow from Sheila 2.
So that is a little bit of progress on one objective, but that's about it. I don't even know that we're going to use that samurai bow.
Yeah, really, I think you're just happy to see half an objective lowering the odds that it's at that Fame Arch.
That is very true. But as Nightdew comes down to investigate the dwarf castle area, Pankraz going to crack an egg or two. We did get that coffin out of the Fame Arch, but is electing to use a virus cast instead, and that gets the job done, so you take it.
Yeah, it took a few rounds of bluffing on Palom to ensure that the damage would be strong enough.
That is reasonable play. We have already seen one of the free bosses, namely the guards, but there are other ones out there, and there are boss spots that have a lot of HP. And if you can knock out one more Dark Imp that would be punching very hard, it could be worth holding onto a coffin.
Yeah, Nightdew has a pair of sirens, coming in. We'll see how he handles this egg, because I don't think he's found his second coffin yet.
Looks like the same approach, bluffing up for a virus hit.
I mean, it makes sense. That is a dancing sparkle in the back of the dwarf castle.
So that is 3 of the lunar sparkles already seen.
Which friend is this one going to be?
Well, we've seen the 2. Well, we've seen the easiest one. This is the second easiest one. As long as your speed situation is under control, Plague will never do direct damage. So you can probably get through just with a little bit of strategy and not a lot of stress. And Nightdew is going to make the exact same play. So we'll have 2 fights right next to each other.
Double plague, double plague.
Honestly, outside of the difference in who you dropped for Edge, these parties are looking remarkably similar, even on levels and all of that. So it's going to be the equipment, and it's going to be the difference of that Edge and that Sid.
Yeah, it's also going to be a little bit of the difference of checks overall. Because while Nightdew's Edge doesn't have the longsword, he does have the ogre axe.
Up, and we get a Rosa from this, and xPankraz has swapped white mages.
And that's a Mylon Zed.
Pretty soon to be a Mylon dead. Yep, there he goes. And it's the Golbez spot. It doesn't have a whole lot of HP.
Yeah, 2,000 if I recall correctly.
Yeah, at this point, xPankraz is just 1 fight ahead of where Nightdew is. We're following along pretty similar routes thus far. Nightdew has dropped Palom rather than Porum.
Interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if this is a twin mix-up, or if there's a different level of strategy going on here.
I mean, one of the things I've seen over the course of this tournament is that black mages not named Fusoya have kind of fallen out of favor. So this could be the twin mix-up, like you said. It could also be going, okay, I'm going to have my 3 bruisers and my 2 white mages and just smack things with sticks until they die.
That is a very reasonable strategy to take. But xPankraz has shown us the reward for doing all this is the twin harps, so good job coming here, getting progress towards objective number 2. Now when are you going to go do it? When are you going to play us some tunes?
Well, looks like we're doing the self-checks first. So at this point, I have a question for you.
I might have an answer for you.
You've got that Luka key burning a hole in your pocket if you're one of these runners. When do you think they would go check that? Obviously, Nightdew hasn't been down to the Fey March yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still going to be burning a hole in the back of both of these runners' pockets until they do so.
Yeah, the problem is it is a big time investment to check that. And as long as you've got other things you could be doing, I feel like you would probably prefer to be doing those other things.
True. But I think our runners are rapidly running out of other things.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've got the Twin Harp still. There's also the Keyless Tower check.
Yeah, I think Twin Harp is the obvious play. I think that's the correct play. Keyless Tower is, I think, the first of those clever plays that you would go with. We've seen that pay out quite a few times. Knowing what's in the Fey March, I would go to Sealed Cave before I go to that Fey March.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I might do Sealed Cave before I do Keyless Tower if I'm feeling particularly powerful. If only because going in and peeking that spot is valuable information.
Mm-hmm.
But both of our runners are headed down to go get us the music just in time for Free Enterprise Raid. Thank you so much all for coming on by.
Yeah, y'all are about to witness some dueling harps. I'm hoping the music is something that's kind of banjo-centric, or possibly something from Banjo-Kazooie.
Look, the devil went down to Cave Magnes.
Oh, is that what the Dark Elf is supposed to be? I don't know the lore.
I mean, he is a dark elf. I guess that kind of lines up with, Satan being a divine being that fell from grace.
All is said, though, throughout the entirety of Final Fantasy IV, outside of this cave, we don't see a non-Dark Elf.
But that's true.
Where are the regular elves?
And, you could argue that the Lunarians are kind of like elves. They've got that whole, we are a powerful civilization, and we are super powerful magic users, though, they do live on the moon.
Yeah, I generally don't assume elves live on the moon. Anyway, let's ponder this while Edward plays us a tune.
We can talk now, right?
Yeah, Golbez has rudely interrupted our FF10 music.
It's like, no, my theme song now.
But we did see, first off, Pankraz went and checked the song title, which I appreciate as I didn't recognize it, but it let Nightdew slip ahead. That's how close we are right now. But he is having a better time of this fight, partly because of that Venom setup that you very rarely see. But taking advantage of the status ailment priority list and making this fight seem to go a bit better.
You know, whereas Nightdew is just like, I've got a ninja with wall up. Let's go stabby stabby.
The stabby works.
And we'll see what our runners are rewarded with today.
A package.
Interesting. We've already seen Deebist, but at this point, I think that if I'm one of these runners, there are exactly 2 characters that I would be excited to see at package.
I'm going to guess they are Fusoya because Fusoya and Sid because objective.
Correct.
Yay! So we may get a quick check of that, but we're heading back underground to figure out our next bit of progression, and there are no really appealing options. There are 2 reasonable ones and 2 much less reasonable ones.
Indeed. That is our
That is brilliant.
Sid.
That's many Sids.
Down.
It's nothing but Sids.
Oops, all Sids.
Oh, this is every Sid from across the Final Fantasy franchise has come to burn down Mist Village.
Look, at this point, I'm just sad Nightdew doesn't have Sid at the front of the party.
Agreed.
But Pankraz does check the Mist Cave boss and finds the King and Queen of Edlin there. Which, honestly, kind of disappointing.
Yeah, that's one of those free bosses we were talking about, in the freest of spots.
And at this point, the odds of Dark Knight Cecil being somewhere nasty are only increasing.
Yeah, because actually I'm thinking back now, and we checked the waterfall. That was the Kaipo guards.
Correct.
So that's another free fight in an unnecessary location.
Oh, okay. If DKC is here at the end, I will laugh.
I was so hoping it would be DKC.
Sadly, it's another one of those free bosses.
Yep, in another one of those free locations. I think a single flame will, takes care of it. But that will be Nightdew, and in a moment, Pankraz also getting through objectives 2 and 5 at the 46-minute mark. And we're just looking for really a hook and a Dark Knight.
Indeed. Luckily, our runners having that character check off the table is going to be a big relief, because now you know that with Demist out of the way and the character check off the table, you do not need to worry about the giant. It is not logically required at this point.
Absolutely. At this point, you are just face checking bosses and trying to gather your key items.
And if you find the Dark Knight and can take him out to avoid having to do one of the other key item checks, all the better.
Yeah, considering we have neither part of that Cocoa Forge, so one boss, easier than tracking down 2 key items. Unless they're like sitting next to each other in the ribbon room, which I guess could happen, sure.
Yeah, there's lots of fun things that can happen. Honestly, I think the most hilarious play would be ribbon room with the hook and half a forge sitting right there.
Yeah, that would be endearing and painful.
Yep. But both of our runners electing to check the Odin throne and going to find Mylon and friends.
Yep, we've already taken care of Mylon's Ed, so we get the party pack down here. And not a terrible fight all told for the Odin spot, so not surprised xPankraz is going to take it on, and Nightdew appears to be doing the same.
Yeah, it's a reasonable spot. Our runners are a fair bit of the way to having their party online. Look at that 2,500 damage coming out of that Palom.
Yeah, Quake is a good spell. It's a strong spell.
It really is. Unfortunately, Nightdew, due to the way that party turn order is set up, does not get the Quake off before the first Go My Children.
Well, Nightdew also, remember, got rid of Palom, so has no... Well,
Right, that's quorum channeling.
Yes, the twins! They look the same. Who knew?
Right?
I mean, Sid, I think, still does have that Earth Hammer available, so yeah, you could cast Quake if you wanted to, but that's not Sid's forte.
But yeah, both of these runners are looking really good in terms of party composition and power. Like, I don't think either of them would feel uncomfortable taking their current composition into the endgame.
Agreed. You would see 2 pretty different strategies, I would say. Nightdew is going to lean a lot more on the Zerker strats. xPankraz will probably be a bit more hybrid, a bit more spell casting. But if these are our final parties, these are valid final parties.
Aren't a lot of bosses out there that would really punish one over the other at this point. So it's just a matter of who can navigate their party through the remaining boss pool.
Yeah, because like we've cleared Cave Magnus, so the one spot that really punishes a mage-centric party is out of the way. We've done D-Lunars, so one that punishes a very physical party is out of the way. We get a spoon, which is something for Edge to throw. Nice, I guess.
One step closer to getting double experience points.
And that, yes. We are actually at 9 key items on xPankraz's side, and soon to be on Nightdew's as well, so...
Yeah, I have to imagine both of these runners are very hungry for that 10th key item at this point.
But on Nightdew's side, Mylon is just refusing to go down and is bringing the thunder left and right. Which is not very fortunate for this party.
Indeed, but Porum is taking one off those Thundercasts, so if you want any character to stay up, it's going to be your White Mage.
Yeah, Porum and Cecil were very well protected from the Lit 1. Sid, Rosa, not so much.
Edge is just here.
Edge is Edge. And we get to hear about Mylon's physical training regimen, and he disappears.
That's asking what shop had sirens, but I don't believe we've seen any in a shop.
I don't think so either. I think both of the runners, they've started with one or two and found one, something along those lines. They've been rather sparse.
Indeed, but luckily they do have the instant siren Palooza in the party, also known as Edge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they may, decide to grab some as they're in this tower area. Pankraz did not grab any on his way up. Might grab some on the way down, but also might decide, I'm gonna wait until I get the hook and see what the Evelyn shops look like. They have a decent chance of having sirens.
Yeah, or also there's the possibility of getting the Darkness Crystal and checking out the Hummingway shop.
Also true.
Pankraz goes for the free version of the karate fight, swinging with Paladin Sea Soul after the third attack from the Karate Man, and resets out of that dragon armor.
Yep, we are down to the Sealed Cave or the Fey March. Nightdew, having not seen what's down there, is going to go to the Fey March next. Pankraz, having seen what is down there, is not.
I cannot blame either runner for their choice. It'll be interesting to see what Nightdew's reaction will be upon seeing the characters down here. Because I don't think we've seen any Moon Veils yet. If we had, Paladin Cecil would allow a certain amount of cheese strats on both of the boss fights down here. But without that, no matter how you slice it, Valvalis and Evil Wall are going to be tricky to take out.
Absolutely. If say we had Edward would be beautiful for that Evil Wall. He can just hide and let Evil Wall punch itself to death. Edward can't save you from Valvalis. So I'm sure Pankraz is really hoping that Val is not the gate, and once Nightdew goes and sees what's happening, probably gonna feel the same. But that's a Legend Sword. That increases the odds to like 100%. That what we need is one of these two fights.
Yup. Nightdew's staring down this party and going, oh no.
And it's just Ashura over here in this sealed cave. Pankraz is walking this Legend Sword out. It's an objective piece. But this is not the DKC that you were kind of hoping for.
Yeah, and Pankraz could choose to leave the Legend Sword here for now. It's not going to hide anything else. He could always come back for it later if he can't find the pieces for one of the other objectives. But if he does, what you gonna do about that Fey March?
Yeah, I think you grab sirens. You've got a ninja. Ninjas can steal. That's apparently a thing. And just get you all the sirens that you feel you need.
So, here's my Galaxy Brain play for Pankraz right now.
Okay.
That sword is the 10th key item.
It is.
What if you just do doors while you're walking out?
Ooh. I like it. I also like our restreamer, Asuka, and her suggestion of lie down, try not to cry, and cry a lot. It's about what I would do.
Yeah. Honestly, same, but that's why I'm here in the booth, and these runners are fighting to go very deep into this brackets round.
These are two very, very skilled runners. You have to be to make it to this point. As Nightdew quickly through the karate fight, we'll see that it was just not very valuable unless you care about the XP and want to walk that out.
Which you might at this point, having just seen what that Fame Arch looks like.
That is true. That is true. But no, that is a reset.
Also, an extremely understandable play, as we saw it from Pankraz earlier.
And then a second reset to actually get earlier in the game. And then a third reset because he hit new game, and that's way too early in the game. There's a window that you're shooting for, and you overshot.
The good old Back to the Future play.
Oh, it is. This is getting pretty heavy, I dare say.
Great Scott, Cecil!
Built a time machine? Out of a whale? Well, it's not a time machine, it's a spaceship, but still.
We can just claim it's the Chrono Trigger crossover.
Oh, if we have Lavos as a Zoroma sprite.
We have to, right? Like, that has to exist.
It is in the pool, but so are 520 some odd other ones.
Oh yeah, it's more just like me going, wait, I don't think I've seen it before.
I have seen it. It's very big.
Oh, I believe that. I mean, chat's asking how fast is the Litter Whale going anyway. I'd have to look up how fast the moon rockets go, because the answer is very.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the lore.
But it looks like Pankraz is deciding not to go with what I would consider the more fun option, and instead going for the safer option of stealing some sirens.
Yep, throws his hourglass on. I'm assuming because the sneak works better if the enemy is in the right spot in their script, and an hourglass puts him in that position. I believe that's the case here. I know things like Petrify works better in that positioning, but I don't know about sneak.
You also skip the searching text box that pops up, which is what you're saying the rationale is.
Yeah, makes sense. So yeah, this is just a whole bunch of sirens dropping into Pankraz's inventory. It looks like Nightdew did a dart to get this Ashura fight moving along. I don't know if it was the spoon or something else that did a lot of damage, but it did a lot of damage.
I don't hate it. Ashura could be one of those fights that gets very trolly very quickly. Oh no, tried to berserk up edge, but it bounced off the wall.
Ah. Fortunately, I don't think that matters for Ashura.
It does not, outside of the fact that you do not have a very angry ninja.
Yeah. But it's more sad than scary.
Honestly, why are you sharing the title of my memoir?
Oh, relatable content here in Free Enterprise. Yep, we're just gonna watch xPankraz get a whole bunch of levels off of a whole bunch of eggs. And hopefully that will put him in a good position to take on this Fame Arch and get whatever is down there. We're expecting one of the two to be the Darkness Crystal, but that's not actually guaranteed yet.
Yeah, it could be one of the other rabbit holes we have here on the Blue Planet. The Earth Crystal, or the Tower Key at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any other way for any of the other key items to immediately cash out. Though I suppose it couldn't be exactly Hook and Rat Tail there.
Yeah, that's possible.
That would be the ultimate troll.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Hook would be nice, though. That gets you through the Pink Tail objective.
Oh, yes. It's more just like, you want to go to the Min? You want to beat both of us?
I mean, the answer is no. We don't want to do both of those. We might have to, but we don't want to. Just for chat's sake, just to catch everybody up, yes, we have found Demas. Demas was the second fight on Mount Ordeals. That actually gave us the Luca key that Nightdew is just finishing the exploration of.
Yeah, we are seeing the one advantage to having Palom over Porum in, like, action here, as Nightdew has to do the slow walk all the way out of the sealed cave, whereas Pankraz was able to save a fair bit of time by casting Warp.
Warp's a good spell.
Warp is a good spell. But it looks like Nightdew is opting to go straight down into the Fame Arch rather than stopping to get sirens.
Yeah, if Nightdew is able to take one of these on with his current levels, that's going to be a progression advantage. I don't know that that's going to be a wholesale advantage. His levels really help.
Mm-hmm. And like, if Nightdew is able to get through, I imagine Pankraz, once the grind is over, will be able to get through faster. Whether or not it is that much faster will remain to be seen. But Hutphin, I think the question of the hour here at this point is, all right, you have two options. What is your answer to this inverse Sophie's choice?
So both of these fights suck.
Correct.
I feel like going with Evil Wall and just doing a lot of Blink and Berserk, it's not going to be nice, but it's like a manageable pattern, especially with Nightdew having 2 white mages, so he can kind of spread out those duties. I feel like the Valve fight... Valveless, though, you could kind of let the... let the rays, let the tornadoes, like, let all that happen, and then just lean on Cecil cover strats.
Yeah, because without the cane, you don't have to worry about... Well, you can't worry about busting her out of the tornado form.
Sorbius, our tracker, pointing out there is less HP in this spot as well. That is a consideration.
And also because Vanilla Shura does punch. The attack stat here is reasonable. Unlike the Leviathan on there.
Yeah, Leviathan script does not include punching, so that's a lot of punching. That's just kind of how this game is programmed. If the spot never does a physical or a magic, and you put a boss in there that does physical or magic, it's gonna hurt a lot. So yeah, both of these runners are taking the Valveless option. Pankraz queued things up to immediately be in full-on cover. But Nightdew letting characters have HP.
Indeed.
That is the dangerous one, though.
Yeah, it looks like Pankraz's edge is hitting for about twice what Nightdew's is. I think they're both rocking similar amounts of equipment, but... Well, it could also just be a high roll, low roll situation with Valvalis' evasion, but I think we are seeing the extra damage from getting those levels coming through as Pankraz clears the fight first.
And there's your Darkness Crystal.
Goodbye, Evil Wall. Nice to see you never.
Yep, that grind is just going to give Pankraz even more of a time advantage here. And having that level advantage as well, it's kind of in the driver's seat here as long as this stays linear.
Yeah, that's one of the things with deciding when to take your grind. You can always decide to come... You can always choose to grind, but grinding early does give you that bit of extra power to get through things faster, which can snowball and mean that you have to grind less later, or that your grind just takes less... Your future grinds take less time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I have definitely... Yeah, I've seen runners, that are at this bracket level. You start with a Darkness Crystal, you find a way to do a moon grind in your first 10 minutes, because that's a huge grind to get out of the way, and it saves so much time later on.
Yeah. And, there are oodles of options for grinding on the moon. But Pankraz pressing his advantage and deciding to go for the Evil Wall. If this is a key item that is required for Go mode, this could be huge because Nightdew is not coming down here until he has literally nothing left.
Yep. Or, for example, if this gives a key item and Dark Knight Cecil is in the Giant, that's another spot that's going to be a last location kind of thing. Or is somewhere like especially rude on the moon and just makes Nightdew lose time that way. There's a lot of ways where even if this, is not, even if it's not the hook, if it's the adamant rock, if it's the hook, then this is like pretty big. But the adamant rock, that's still a huge advantage. But we are seeing all the big spells coming out. We're seeing Nuke. We're seeing White. We're seeing Bursk. Bursk is a big spell.
Yeah, Bursk lets you go burr.
Exactly. It's there in the name. Nothing doing from the Hummingways this seed.
Kamikazes aren't the worst if you're trying to keep an anchor down at this point, but other than that are of minimal utility.
Now, the fights where they have the highest utility we've already seen. We fought Plague, we fought Golbez, we did Cape Magnus, whatever. Oh, that is an Earth Crystal. Coming from the Evil Wall fight.
That's another 2 bosses and a key item check. And if any of those pay off, this could be huge. If both of those pay off, this is probably the race.
Yeah, and it looks like xPankraz is going to go and chase that down. You have to. You have to assume that Nightdew did not do that fight, because that's a rude fight. So you got to press this advantage.
Yeah. And Chad is pointing out that technically it is only one boss that is gated behind, but it's like one soft gate, because you're usually not going to come here until you have the Earth Crystal. And, and of course Nightdew is deep in lunar territory.
But how do we feel about that treasury?
I missed it. I was too busy getting excited about the Warlock grind that Nightdew has set up.
Well, we did find, I believe that was a Murasame. I never read Murasame Masamune correctly at a glance. Along with the Crystal Ring, some other things that were okay. More Crystal Armor. So that's nice. We can double plate our Paladin.
In case you need a tank to go with your tank.
Yeah, it's just that extra protection, that extra durability.
But yeah, I will definitely go with chat's assessment that treasury was an edge out of 10.
Mm-hmm. It was the Murasame, it looks like.
Yeah, and a ninja sword, and a sword that allows edge to back row.
And a free fight here that I was really hoping would be the Gauntlet.
Yeah, when the first one popped up, I was on the edge of my seat waiting for that. If this was the Gauntlet, we would have seen 3 Blue Rogue figures here. So, I was so hoping that second explosion was going to pay off.
But instead, it's 3 hits, a motivational speech, and you're done.
Yeah. Believe in yourself. And be strong.
This party's like in the 50s level-wise. I think they're strong. They don't need self-confidence. They got big swords.
Nightdew looking to head down into the lunar subterrane, opting not to go to Wyvern before hitting the density down at the bottom. And yes, Zot has 2 character checks. There's literally only one mop that matters here.
Yes, we do not need 1 Punch Man. We also do not need 1 Sage Man.
Yes. Yang is a interesting character whose power directly scales with how many levels he's got. And given that xPankraz has already done his grind, I think we're good here.
Nightdew runs into the Dark Elf as xPankraz runs into the Nope Rope.
All right. So that's pretty good news for Nightdew. Unless this key item proves fruitful, this could just be a full-on time waster for xPankraz, a diversion that takes him off the critical path.
I mean, on the upside, that fight was quick.
Yeah, a fully powered Palom will do capital W work. As Nightdew is slowly chipping away at this Dark Elf's HP. Not taking a lot of damage from this particular spot, which is nice, but we'll see how long it takes for a pirate to drop his quarters.
Well,
Oh.
xPankraz has found a different kind of party rock. Earth Crystal leading it to the Adamant Ore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that makes the wall even more required.
Indeed. Though, it is worth noting that at this point, the other 2 objectives, I think, have to be either gated through the moon or that Dark Knight's on the Giant.
There is a super cannon room, but that is the only other possibility, and that is gated through as well. So yes.
Yeah, the super cannon, the tower key has to be somewhere on the moon at this point. We're out of other checks. But that does mean that xPankraz is either going a different route and finding the Dark Knight, or following the same route and not needing to go any further once the rat tail is found.
Yeah, if xPankraz manages to stumble upon DKC up here on the moon, the lack of pass also works in his advantage, because he can just go straight from that to the Zeromus fight. Doesn't have to turn anything in back at the Earth.
Yeah. Well, that's an Excalibur here in the Ribbon Room. So
That's a good sword.
Yeah, we take those.
I did not see what the other item was, but it didn't look like it was a key item in the inventory.
It was not. I forget what exactly it was, but it was a piece of gear.
Oscar Restreamer indicating it was some manner of ring. Whatever. It's not a key item. Shrug. Aggressive shrug at it.
I mean, it could be. It doesn't ring a bell. Anyway, so
Anyway, I was just gonna let that linger.
Oh, I appreciate it. You flatter me. Just like I think Nightdew is going to do a pretty good job of flattening this Elements fight.
Yeah, not even bothering to set up strategies to avoid this Rubicante segment. Just blasting through, getting over to the Kanazo part, so the worst of it is over. There's the gauntlet. It's in cave value. Oh dear.
I mean, a Moon Gauntlet can be a valuable grind if you don't already have your nuke on Howlum.
Yeah, and hey, at least it's not Gauntlet at Ogopogo.
True facts. But Nightdew is through. Let's see what he gets rewarded with.
A hammer. Joy.
Not what he wanted to see there. Yeah, so I think the dream is like DKC in one of these really rough spots.
Yeah, I mean DKC here at Ogo with the hook. That would be brilliant for Nightdew actually. 'Cause that would even things straight up. It's Rubicante instead.
Let me show you how. Yeah, that fire counter coming out pretty hard, especially against that Sid.
Yeah, fortunately, I think that Sid is mainly queued up as an anchor, so if he goes down, he goes down. That's a Mom Bomb at the Pale spot. No DKC yet.
Yeah, I think at this point, Pankraz is going to be face-checking a lot of these locations before actually taking them on.
Yep, I would agree with that play, absolutely. It's faster than doing the key item check for the same level of value, if not more. You already got your levels. You don't want to bother fighting them.
Yeah, and like, if your party has the ability to survive the waves of dark magic from Dark Knight Cecil, you don't really have to fight them.
No. But just to run through all of those outside checks, we have seen the Mist Cave, that was Eblin Royalty, Waterfall, Kaipo Guards, and we have gone all the way through the package, fighting Dark Imps, so very rude to get all those free bosses in those free spots. But that also means that we've been sufficiently thorough, where our options are pretty limited.
And Nightdew taking a minute to bring the party back after a few glares knocked everyone down for a bit. This is not an easy fight by any stretch of the imagination.
Now, Rubicante in the vanilla game is meant to be a little bit of a gate. It's a bit of a challenge.
And to answer Oscar's question in chat, we know who is at every moon boss spot outside of Wyvern. We don't know what the key items are outside of the two that Nightdew has checked.
So yeah, DKC at Wyvern.
Actually, if Pankraz goes for this Rubicante fight, he might have a bit of a better time of it with the Howlum.
Yes, definitely.
To avoid that Fire 2 counter. But yeah, I do imagine resetting right away and going straight up for the Wyvern fight based off prior behavior.
Yep, and that's what we see happening. But I know I mentioned earlier, like, most of the fights that we had remaining, it kind of didn't matter if you had a physical or a magical party. Rubicon Day is a little bit of an exception. A lot of counters to physical attacks, and a tower key as a reward. Huh.
That could be huge. Because at this point, Pankraz has spent a lot of time checking who all the bosses are, hoping to clean this up and get home. If it is exactly that tower key, Pankraz not being willing to commit to these fights could be huge, but let's see who this is.
It's the Magus Sisters.
Okay, so Dark Knight Cecil is not on the moon.
Yep, we have to get something from here and take it back down. It could be that tower key. There could be a there could be a hook right here and make the whole thing moot. DKC is on the hook route. Whatever.
Yeah. You know, that hook fight, specifically the King Queen Evelyn spot, could be a huge thing. DKC could be at the tower key spot. DKC could be in the giant. Mm-hmm. I think those are our remaining options.
I believe you are correct, yes. But yes, a hook here would be go mode for Pankraz, so Nightdew has to hope it's not. But where else could it? Well, there are a few fights that neither of them have actually seen through.
Yeah, there's the Mom Bomb spot, neither of them done. They haven't done the Gauntlet yet. And also, the hook could be at the Tower Key spot.
Indeed. Is it here with the Magus Sisters? It is not. That is a Crystal Helm.
Oof. So we know that our progression at this point is either that tower key exactly or at the other two spots on the moon.
And you know, I think Nightdew is more likely to go do one of those two before Pankraz. He is now going and actually confronting these fights that he was looking at, but he has to go through them, has to actually do these fights.
Though, looking at the various HP totals, I think Nightdew's levels are starting to normalize out towards where Pankraz's are. At this point, they're probably going to be going through these fights at about the same pace.
Yeah, we are slowly hitting that point. Nightdew, we're seeing, high 40s, low 50s. Pankraz is probably more towards the high 50s so far, but it's not a huge gap at the end of the day.
Yeah. This Elements fight is going to go down very soon for Pankraz. Already on the Velvalis phase.
It's also not going to help Pankraz that as he's getting through these fights, completing them, getting the XP, seeing that it's not what he wants, and resets out, losing that XP. So he's spending this time and not even getting the levels as a reward.
Indeed. Honestly, I think there would be an argument for Pankraz to have decided, you know what? It's not here. I'm 100% going to gamble that I can find DKC somewhere. Though I imagine the fact that there are two key items out there that gate bosses would be weighing a bit too heavily on him.
Possibly.
On the other hand, Pankraz does have the information at this point, so going into the boss fights, he can be proactive about his choices of strategies as the boss shows up, whereas Nightdew is having to react to each of these lunar altars as they come.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know how big of adjustments XPankraz needs to make fight over fight, but does have that opportunity.
Yeah, and does get the week off on the Dark Elf. That's a nice one.
Yep, Dark Elf does have the boss bit until he turns into a dragon. Then he doesn't have the boss bit. And you could just do that. That's the thing you could do. And XPankraz does. And
Yeah.
there's the hook.
All right. That's two things pulling Nightdew back to Earth. The lunar subterranean is cleared out.
Yep, and Nightdew, I strongly suspect, is not... it could go and at least check what is in cave value. Has not seen that it's the gauntlet.
Yeah. And at this point, I don't think he fights it. I think this is just, okay, I'm just going to make sure it's not DKC literally here.
Yeah, definitely. But at this point, XPankraz is going to have to hope that DKC is on the giant. Because otherwise, Nightdew has the equipment to find him and fight him. And may get to go mode that much faster than him.
Indeed. Though Nightdew not deciding to peek the boss here, instead running up.
Oh, actually, Nightdew does not know. Water
Wait,
Hag was in Zot. So,
also,
yes.
Nightdew doesn't have the rat tail yet.
Well, neither runner has found the rat tail. But
Sorry, the adamant rock.
yeah. Because all of that was behind the evil wall in the Fame Arch. Can't blame him for skipping that.
Yeah. And, the good thing about a Moon Gauntlet is that it's a pile of experience points. Not that he necessarily needs it right now, but you're never going to say no to that, especially when you've got a few hourglasses in your pocket.
Also, with the fights in this spot in particular, isn't it also a pile of money?
Oh, that is fair.
Again, not that our runners are going to need it. We're not really in a position to bother with a lot of shopping anymore, but that's a thing.
Yeah. And right now, I think the best thing for Nightdew to see here would be the pass, or I suppose the rat tail leading to the pass.
Yeah, XPankraz, though, gets that tower key, is immediately chasing it. Lay down a save, so won't have to go through these cutscenes again, but this is a bold move. We know the hook is not going to be here. He needs it to be DKC if this is going to be the right play.
Yeah. I don't hate it. He doesn't know that it's not the hook, so he might sit down and see the entire check through before resetting.
Mm-hmm.
But if this is DKC, XPankraz will leapfrog back into the lead again.
I don't know, I think XPankraz may still have a little bit of an advantage just because he doesn't need anything but a boss or a hook. Nightdew still has to hunt down that adamant ore or get both pieces.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do know that's not DKC.
That is good old Snake Arms McGee. So that leaves us with 3 potential Donkey Kong Country spots.
I feel like I should be making a joke about specifically Donkey Kong Country 3, but I don't think I've played it.
I haven't either. I was one of the unfortunate children who didn't actually have a Super Nintendo growing up.
Oh yeah, I had a Sega Genesis.
Yeah, I had the original Nintendo, and then we skipped straight to the N64.
See, I went original Nintendo to Sega Genesis to Sony PlayStation,
Nice.
and then looped back to N64 because our PlayStation couldn't save games.
Oh yeah, huh?
Oh, those were wild times.
Yeah. Well, now to see what Pankraz gets rewarded with for his trouble. We know it's not going to be the hook.
The real question is, when he sees that it's not the hook, does he reset back to the moon? It's the pass.
That is...
He's gonna fly.
I think in the end, this is worth it.
Yeah, honestly, you take that pass. I don't know. I would be inclined to take that pass and dive the giant. Like Sorbius pointed out, 2/3 chance.
That is the rat tail for Nightdew.
Hey, we unfortunately know that leads to nothing.
Yup.
But Pankraz is going to go invest in that same fight.
Yeah. Unfortunately for him, we just saw the results of it, and it's not going to be what he wants right now. But he will be on the moon. He will be able to find that hook very soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. Like, why do this over Mom Bomb? But I don't know.
Yeah. Nightdew gonna come down and wake the hovercraft.
I'm so used to seeing runners do that very early on. Forgot the Nightdew hadn't done it yet.
Right? I guess that's like I guess it's because it wasn't necessarily part of his early game looting rat this seed.
Yeah, we were being a little different.
Yeah. Like, Damsian does have that basement treasury, which has, like, 9, not super high tier gear, but very proximal gear to itself.
Oh, Pinktail gives us an Avenger, so hey, that crystal armor. Hope you held on to some.
Right? And, like, you love to see the Avenger.
You might love to see the light sword as well. It's
I wrote it something.
Yeah, it's chuckable.
Yeet. So the real and not if the hovercraft answers my question, Nightdew is going to go down and check that tower key spot.
Yep, so this will actually get Nightdew the pass as well. I think that's going to nudge him a little more towards hunting things down on Earth, and also just the fact that you've done everything on the moon.
Yeah, he will be happy to see that pass because it means he does not have to go all the way back to the moon.
yeah, unless Nightdew comes out of this and decides to check either the hook route or the giant, looking for DKC, we're gonna see 17s. Xpankraz is gonna collect his 17 after getting this rat tail and realizing it's nope.
Yeah, I have to wonder if you're Nightdew, do you do the giant before you go look that evil wall? And I think the answer is yes. Like, you probably check the King's Benevolence spot, or do you?
I can't even say for sure on that one. That's a big walk, a big time investment.
Like, they both are, especially if DP is the second spot there.
Yeah, nothing about this is terribly appealing. Xpankraz does not want that rat tail, does not want that XP. Resets out of the gauntlet. Heading over.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, at this point, Xpankraz knows that rat tail cannot be anything because he would. The only other key item he has left is the hook.
And Nightdew is going to pursue the wall. So this is a long chain that will lead him to go mode, assuming he gets through this fight.
Yeah, and he does have a significant amount of levels on his party now, but it's still by no means going to be a fast one.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's Evil Wall.
Evil's right there in the name.
Yeah, it says right there. These are some big swings coming out of Cecil. Yeah, that Mom Bomb is done for. And there's our hook at an hour 45. Xpankraz hits go mode.
I imagine our sequence of events will be fly back down, turn in that pink tail, fly over to Troya, and we'll start spamming flags, I guess.
Quite possibly. Yeah, I feel like we've been saying this, and certainly Chad has been indicating as much. Xpankraz, you gotta feel behind in that situation. You've done so many checks to finally get your go mode, and you have to assume that your opponent is just at the top of their game.
Both of these runners have been playing phenomenally, taking slightly different routes through what has proved to be a really trolly seed. If you aren't following them, be sure to follow both of these fantastic runners tonight.
Yes, if only because from the looks of it, I think we're going to be going to a game 3. It's not guaranteed until we see that crack, bang, boom. But we have a crystal in Xpankraz's inventory.
Yeah. Which I think does beg a question.
It begs a lot of questions.
Yeah. The one that's currently on my mind is, like, how rough of a time with Zerome is xPankraz going to have to allow Nightdew even the remote chance of catching up?
That's a different question that I think a lot of the chat is wondering, which mainly revolves around the butt. The one that will be kicked, the one that may be scary or cute or surrealistic, or some combination thereof.
I feel like you just said cute twice.
I say a lot of things. a lot of words happen over the course of one of these events. I don't remember all of them.
More just memeing because I personally find surrealism very cute.
Yeah, it's got its charms.
As does finding out exactly whose butt we're kicking tonight. We were talking about it earlier. Which of the over 500 different sprites is Zeromus going to transform into today?
And tonight's true colors are black and white, I guess.
Danganronpa, right?
Yep.
I only know because I saw Zoe playing it once.
I only know because I see the screenshots on Steam periodically. I've never played any of these games.
Neither have I.
Yeah, xPankraz putting out big damage numbers, reflecting the nukes, doing some Zerk. This is probably a safe fight.
Yeah, that's almost 9. Wait, no, sorry, that's over 9,000 damage coming out.
It's over 9,000.
Yeah, this butt is not long for the world.
There's the quad 9s we all know and love.
Indeed. Here's the first Big Bang coming out. Well nerfed, well nerfed.
Yep, Edge kind of teetering appropriately. But at this point, the fight does not really rely on his damage.
Another quad 9 roll.
And we're already at rocks.
I'd say these are the true party rocks.
Yeah, there's a lot of party rocks.
Yeah.
I dare say.
For xPankraz, they signal victory.
Yep, that is xPankraz through the Zeromus fight. Get your GGs in chat. Taking this race with a time of 1:51.19.
Yep. We'll see if we get him in here. Get his thoughts on the seed.
Yep, and as that is happening, Nightdew is about to get his own go mode. Picking up this adamant ore from the Tower of Zot.
And I believe that is a Pankraz.
Yeah, Pankraz, if you can hear us, GG on that run.
Hey, GG's, thank you very much.
Yeah, so I guess my first question is, how are you feeling after that one?
Well, I've had 15 minutes. Like at the time, or the last 5 minutes or so, my heart was just going ba-dum, 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 over and over again. So naturally, I walked away and ate some food, and we're feeling much better now.
Well, that's good. Food helps.
Yeah, that was a very stressful seed for a while. Very nail biter finish, at least for me. Don't know how I came across on Restream.
Well, you came across as just kind of barreling through that moon looking for DKC, and we still don't know where he is.
Neither. I did not go back and check. Towards the end of the face checking, I just had to bank on him being at King Queen Eblin, so I'm hoping he's at King Queen Eblin.
Was either there or the giant, neither of you checked.
Yeah, but you did, on your return trip, went and checked the gauntlet before going and visiting Mom Bomb. What was the train of thought on that decision?
What was left on the moon? What might Nightdew fade? I've gone around, I've checked everything except for those last two things. I bailed on the tower key, hoping for precisely the hook. I knew that maybe, or was thinking at the time, maybe Nightdew fades the gauntlet, or because he doesn't want to do it, and he's fully leveled at this point. Maybe it's an annoying fight, maybe that is the hook that I'm looking for. I don't know. Ultimately, it came down to a 50-50 between Hook and Rat Tail, and I went for the slightly meta gameplay that maybe my opponent didn't want to do this check, and maybe, hopefully, this is the hook. Unfortunately, it was not.
No, it was not.
Yeah, I would say that the big difference maker in this race was your choice to grind and then fight the evil wall right away.
Did Nightdew just do like a small grind before going down there and taking on Bound?
Nightdew did not do much of a grind, if you could call it a grind, other than, just doing all of the standard checks, took on Val, and then went straight to the moon.
Yeah, I was definitely considering that, but I figured I had already invested the time. I'm fully ground. I have nuke. This is my best chance to take out this wall. Let's get it over with. And when I showed up with the Earth Crystal, it was one of those like, oh, that's 2 more boss checks. That's another key item check. I gotta hope that this is something. And it was something. It was something.
Yeah, maybe not the something you wanted, but definitely the something you needed.
One of the somethings I needed, at least. I was hoping for 2 somethings I needed, but
yeah,
gotta settle for 1.
Yeah,
but yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to mention that, like, up until that point, though, you two were pretty much, neck and neck mirroring each other. So that really was a pretty decisive maneuver, getting those sirens and doing that grind.
All right, interesting to hear. Really looking forward to watching it back now. Well, even more so than I was before.
Yeah, the other major difference came with which twin you kept.
Yeah, I talked with Nightdew a bit about that, and about he kept Porum over Palom, I believe.
Yeah, Nightdew's final party was Porum, Edge and Cecil, Rosa, and Sid.
Interesting. I like Beefy Sid Anchor if he found a curse string. I'm presuming so.
I don't think we saw one.
Yeah, I actually don't know.
Even more interesting. I know double white mage, especially with the way that Fey March was looking, like having blinks for that is 100% a defensible composition to go with. I figured that I'd be fine with just Tella with cover Cecil, with all of the crystal armor and the Boon Helm and all the goodies that I could have found, if I had needed to resort to a lower level Fey March fight. And the reason that the extra firepower from having Palom at big spells, or just even medium spells with Quake and Virus and the like, would help a lot more in the long run than having a second white mage would, especially since I only have one white shirt.
Mhm. And I know that it's kind of like the more meta play to get rid of your black mages as they start dropping off with power. Was that kind of the impetus behind doing that grind right then, was get Palom to nuke, or?
That was one of them, definitely. Like, I was very content with my party. We were pretty well kitted, except for Cecil and his darn silver sword. And it was a perfectly defensible endgame party at that point. I was happy with it. I figured, let's go ahead and do a grind now. If I'm stealing sirens and I'm here on Earth anyway, let's just steal as many as I can and do an egg grind. It should be easy to one-shot everything with a virus or a quake or maybe eventually an edge auto. It was not eventually an edge auto. And with Palom and Rosa in the party, the decision to just go for a completely big grind was, I thought, the only way to go to try and get them to where they needed to, especially because my weapon situation on the melee fighters wasn't the greatest.
Yeah, we didn't find that Excalibur, that light sword, that till pretty late. And your dip into the treasury, though. I want to call that out. That was sharp.
It was a hunt for literally anything better than a silver sword, and I did not get anything better than a silver sword.
Well, not for Cecil. You got good stuff for Edge.
Yeah, Edge, Ninja, Murasame, this extra strength ring in there, a black belt, a Gungnir Spirited Dart. There were a crystal ring, a rune ring, an apple. It was a very good treasury. It's just a shame that A, it's gained behind Evil Wall at the Leviathan spot, and B, that there's no Cecil weapon.
Right?
Well, hey, you've pushed this to a round 3. It's another chance for a better treasury, I suppose. Any feelings going into that tiebreaker?
That I hope that it isn't nearly as stressful as the seed was. Anytime the seed goes, when you're starting, your 24th, your 25th, your 26th key item check, and you still don't have go mode, it starts to weigh on you, and I was feeling the effects at the end of this one, and I'm hoping that maybe tomorrow night seed is a little bit kinder.
Yeah, what time is your race tomorrow then?
I believe 7 o'clock Eastern. I will double check real quick.
Yeah, making sure that all of our lovely viewers who definitely will want to see the end of this really, really good best of 3 are able to tune in if they can.
Yep, it is 7 o'clock tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern, on channel undecided as of yet, but I'm sure that there will be a smattering of volunteers and a fantastic team chosen very quickly to make sure that everybody can see the thrilling conclusion.
Yep, that info will be out fairly soon, I'm sure. But folks watching, if you're not already following, first off, if you're not already following these runners, xPankraz, Nightdew, excellent runners here. But we'll give that little shout out to Randomania that is hosting tonight's race here. They've been hosting many of these. May well host the round 3 tomorrow. So
both have been on Randomania so far. Maybe we'll get the triple header on.
Who knows?
Scala in chat confirming that it is here on Randomania.
Well, there you go.
Well, there we are. The Randomania gang for the whole best of 3. Nothing, you forgot something. You forgot to mention yourself and Leggy, the fantastic commentators. You forgot to mention Asuka, the fantastic restreamer rolling that seed. That was a seed. And of course, Sorbius doing the tracking. Thank you, all of you, for putting on the show, for putting on the restream. I look forward to watching it back and hearing everything that you have to say, what chat has to say, and just seeing the whole show.
I mean, we have the easy job. You're the one out here doing all the hard work.
I'm pressing buttons and moving a joystick. It's outside of the whole heart going thing. In either case, I'm gonna go finish up food. Thank you again, and thank you all for just watching. We'll see you around. Have a fantastic rest of the night.
Yep.
GG's again, Pankraz. Go enjoy your food, calm yourself down. And yeah, as we were having our little chat, Nightdew did finish up his Zeromus fight as well, coming in with 2 hours, 57 seconds.
Yeah, we'll see if we can't get him in here as well. Hello, Nightdew.
Hello.
So, sentiments on that moon.
What a moon it was, too. I mean, the play went kind of exactly as we wrote it up there. I really wasn't looking to burn time on, like, Siren Theft or anything. I had one to take up to it. I knew there was a Warlock fight in front of me that I could take for a bunch. Even got a double on one of them. And figured, hey, let's just run and grind at this. And you're thinking, okay, you find that X-Scowl down there, and you're like, well, okay, Sus is ready to go here. And then it was just blank after blank, and I keep hitting things because I can't face check yet because I don't have that hook, I believe. What was that? The Crystal Sword Altar? Somewhere around there?
It was with Mom Bomb at the Pale Dim spot, I think it was.
Oh yeah, even worse. Yeah, so I was still on 2 objectives every time, so I couldn't just really face check, and yeah, it was. I mean, and then the Alt Gauntlet happened, and I'm saying to myself, there is a better than zero chance that Pankraz totally saw this and totally said nope. And so I took it.
And that was the same reason that Pankraz eventually went and took it, was expecting that you had not.
I mean, it's nice that we're guessing each other at this point, but yeah, elation at a rat tail, complete disappointment at a lightsaber.
Yeah, so about that major wall that faced you this seed. When you come back down to the earth, you turn in your tails, you get some really nice gear. You've got a couple of spots you're looking. You're still on that boss hunt. You've got a couple of spots available to you, and your choice was to go for Evil Wall, which did eventually lead to your other objective. But I'm curious what your thoughts there are with that kind of really bad decision.
Really kind of was. I mean, really, I've said it many times here. If it comes down to a race of just sheer execution, Pankraz probably gets that one, I would say, like, more times than not over on me here. And my gut was screaming, stay away from the wall, stay away from everything. If it was that, he'd probably have it by now. And I did not listen to it. I was really close to hitting the giant button, seeing if Dirt Knight Cecil was up there. But then I looked at my remaining bosses, and I'm like, well, I don't really have an anchor here because I've played it really fast and loose. And I'm looking at my boss tracker, and I have 4 bosses left, and I know where one of them is. Because we know Octomam was at the Ruby spot, which left us with the DKC we were looking for. We were looking for Calbrenna. Calbrenna was still in the pool, and then Wyvern and Bahamut were still there. I didn't want to run into Wyvern.
That's a good thing to avoid in general.
Especially at a CPU slot where I don't know if I have any actual way to deal with him, because I didn't find, like, other than a crystal ring, I really didn't find anything worth agility manipulation.
Yeah, that is valid strats.
I mean, I guess I had the hook character. Yeah, I guess I had the hook character, but at that point, you go check KQE anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, like, you had no good options on the table, and honestly, I did not envy your position at that point in time.
Yep, I took the hill of the Alt Gauntlet, and unfortunately, it was not the correct hill to take. But, I mean, it's just like, there was no way this could have ended in 2 games. We were totally going for a game 3.
Well, we love to see the more free enterprise running just in general. So thank you for granting us that. I'm hopeful that your round 3 tomorrow is just as dramatic and hopefully less rude. But I'm not in control of that, so I can only offer a blessing.
I was under the impression that chat wanted it even more rude. I mean, we probably had I might go back and actually peek that. We probably had like a soft required giant. I mean, we're probably about 50-50 of DKC being up there right now. So, yeah.
I think it's actually better than 50-50.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's and I had the time of my life doing these kind of races anyway. So, yeah, we'll just come back for tomorrow and give you guys a show.
Yeah, I hear tomorrow there are all of the marbles on the line.
Oh, well, we can't only go with some of the marbles. We have to throw all of the marbles in the pile. Isn't that how it goes anymore?
I don't know how to play marbles.
I never played. I never had marbles as a kid. I never got to play with marbles.
Yeah, I merely just like had marbles that looked cool.
Yeah.
I had some, but I lost them.
All right. Well, on that note.
On that note, GG's again, Nightdew.
Thank you very much, and thank you for all the behind-the-scenes work, tracking commentary, talking about us for 2 hours has to get boring sooner or later, right?
I always have a blast, and like scenes like this where you're all sweating are infinitely enjoyable. Thank you so much for your excellent performance tonight.
I mean, it's only like at 1:20. My eyes are just glued to the monitor that has the Discord. I'm like, where's the dot done? Where's the dot done? I know the dot done's coming. Where is the dot done? Mm-hmm. So yeah. But yeah. Come back tomorrow and let's see how it all ends.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was a seed, wasn't it?
Yep, but just like all good things, all rough seeds must also come to an end. And this is the end of the LaliHo League races for the evening, but we've got a really fun place to send y'all on over to.
Yep, we are going to go and raid Spoonie, who is doing some practice for the Paladin percent speedrun of vanilla Final Fantasy IV. I guess you could do Paladin percent of free enterprise, but nah. So yeah, I will close us out, thanking all of you for watching, thanking Asuka for rolling that seed and restreaming, thanking Sorbius for taking care of the tracking, and of course, my co-commentator, Lady Starscream.
And of course, thank you, Hupfin, for being a wonderful person to hang out with for 2 hours while our runners run themselves ragged.
And of course, as we're heading over, no spoilers, folks.
Yeah, there may be folks there who will want to watch this back, and like, really, who wouldn't?